everyone and welcome to round 2 of the OWC Championship here in the city of Budapest. Yes, we are here at Magyar Nagydej for the Hungarian Grand Prix, a track notoriously known for being Monaco without the barriers, as it's incredibly difficult to overtake here. The circuit is 4.5 kilometers long and features 2 DRS zones down the main straight as well as the one preceding it down to turn 2. Both will be the main source of overtaking, but don't count out the chicane at turn 6 and 7 either. We have seen many moves pulled off there and many unsuccessful moves, just like the one in lap 1 between Lewis Hamilton and Nico Rosberg in 2015. Before we get into qualifying, let's take a look at the championship standings from round 1. At least a bicycle took the win in Suzuka, so he lead the championship in first place. After a successful two-stop strategy, his teammate came home in second place like Atari, so he's got 80 points to his name. Mantis is in third place so far, followed by Panda Cruiser. Sasso is in fifth place with 8 points. Comanzo is in sixth. Lazzaro is in seventh, with Delta Alpha and Zenarab completing those who have scored points so far. Without further ado, let's get straight into qualifying. Oh ho ho, it is full wet conditions for this qualifying session here in Hungary. Wow, that is surprising. I mean, it actually shouldn't surprise me, because in real life we had that absolutely awesome qualifying session where it was dry at one point, it was wet at one point, it was intermediate at one point. Obviously we had the famous Alonso, the rocket ship radio message, which was quite cool. But this is torrential rain conditions. This is full wet conditions, there's no doubt about that. And the 13 drivers ready to compete in this qualifying session has just had the difficulty turned up to 100%. Wow. Yep, there we see the Ferrari drifting out of the pit lane there. It's Sagatari, that was. That was like some Danny Rick style drifting. He didn't drift. Oh wow, this is going to be a very big challenge. Look, all the drivers squirming about trying to find grip on these brand new wet tyres. There's already a McLaren round, and that's not gone well at all for Drop Dead. Or DDRS, sure, I don't know. He can't keep it on the track here. This is fascinating to see, like how the drivers had to struggle in these conditions. How they aren't adept to these full wet tyres that they probably haven't practiced. They probably expected full dry conditions, and to turn up for the real league race and have a full wet qualifying, that's definitely not going to help with this. McLaren is still squirming about, looking for any grip he can find. It's the final corner now. I honestly can't tell if it's going quick or not because of the engine glitch, but up towards the line, it is a 1:32.1, which is around 16 seconds slower than a dry time, as Mantis goes quickest in the Haas, only 2/10 quicker than the Ferrari driver. And Panda Cruiser is just 2 seconds off in the Renault. So I can definitely tell the drivers are struggling as Justin Last gets a drift on in this turn 6 chicane, as Comanzo goes P1 in this McLaren. At least a bicycle puts himself on the second row alongside his teammates. But it looks quite close on the top. Comanzo, though, is got a solid 3/10 advantage over the rest. Oh, and that's Justin Ass, who's lost it in the final corner, and he's where Julian Palmer actually bottled. Is he trying to go back into the pit lane? Yes, he is. Wow, it's actually worked out for him. Or has it? Has he been disqualified? He might. I think he's just been disqualified. Yep, he's been disqualified. Oh dear, that has not gone well for the Force India. And right now, is a Force India. Both Force Indias are at the back of the field. He could be going even quicker on this lap, and he does. He goes 5/10 quicker in the Ferrari. That is a great gain on his previous lap time, and he now has a almost 6/10 advantage on Lazzaro in P2, and Comanzo only a 10th behind on the Mercedes. As you see, Mantis now coming onto on the start-finish straight. He's in P5. Where are we going to be at the end of this lap? He's on P2. And he's only a tenth behind Matt, or at least Bicycle, in P1 as it stands. So it's a very good lap for the Haas driver. And he is comfortably ahead of Lazzaro in P3 and Comanzo in P4. But speaking of Comanzo, he's going to come up towards the line now and goes third fastest. The 1:31.394. A very competitive lap time from the McLaren driver, but not competitive enough to challenge P1 and P2. It stays Ferrari, Haas, McLaren in the top three. When Zerado's driving from the session, he's there. I wonder if he's made contact with the Toro Rosso. I don't know, but his car is in that wall and it is not getting out there anytime soon. If you see a lot of intermediate runners, are they going out onto the is it time for the intermediate tyres? The track has started raining a little bit less now, as yes, you can see on the right hand side of your screen, that's Lazzaro coming out of the pits on the intermediate green striped tyre. It's going to be a very interesting end to the qualifying session, as we're going to see hopefully lots of quicker lap times. Or maybe it will be a bad gamble from the Mercedes driver. But it looks like a lot of people are going to take this gamble. With Segatauri and Panda Cruz are selecting it, and they aren't out of the pits just yet. So we can't just tell yet what's going to happen. But Sarah gets a slide on the exit of turn 1. He goes wide in turn 2. That's not going to help him. It is on his outlap, so the tyres will be cold. It's a matter of can he get those tyres up to an optimal temperature for an optimal working range to go even quicker than Matt in P1, who is on the intermediate tyres as well. So it looks like we'll be seeing times tumble towards the end of the session. Lazzaro is known for taking risk. Is he going to come in? Is he going to come to pits? No, he doesn't. He gets a mini tank slapper on the entry and towards the final corner. As he comes on towards start-finish straight, let's follow him on this lap. Let's see if he can improve on his 1:31.5, which currently puts him in P4 as Comanzo comes out of the pits there, who he's just ahead of in the timesheets. Turn 1, it's a very poor line. First gear, second gear, third gear, shifting up. The real short shifting, well, actually short shifting is what he's exactly doing now. Into turn 2, it's a okay-ish line from the British Mercedes driver, but it's not looking too good for him. I still think he's a bit too early for the intermediate tyres. I did a 1:31.7, which I can't tell if that's competitive or not. Turn 4, he got a little bit wide, which isn't going to help him, but I think he'll be okay with that. As Milk retires from the session and Alfie goes wide, and that is his lap done and dusted. Alfie's still going, and it looks pretty darn quick, but I doubt his lap's going to count. It does? What? I'll be saying that lap, thank you very much, Mr. Mercedes driver. You just completely cut turn 6 and turn 7 chicane and you got away with that. What? Okay. He's doing alright for him so far on the McLaren. Comanzo. Apparently he has done absolutely no practice for this race. So to be lining up on and Lazzaro goes P1 again. I wonder if that one counted, but as Comanzo goes P2. So a very good lap from McLaren, who before Lazzaro interrupted me, has done no practice whatsoever and didn't expect to do anything. And now he's lining up on the front row of the grid, so that's not bad, if I do say so myself. But obviously there are the two Ferraris and Mantas who are there to challenge the front row at least. I'm going to go on board with Mantis now. He's coming around the final corner to complete his only lap in qualifying unless he gets enough time to get to another lap. Crossing the line now, he goes P2, 2/10 behind Lazzaro in P1, but crucially he crosses the line seconds before the checker flag claim out. So he does have time to go for another run. And Sakatari goes P2, a 10th down on Lazzaro. He has no time to complete another lap, so he will start no higher than P2 on the grid. Panda Cruiser comes home in P5, who's ahead of a little bicycle, who will not be happy with P6, so he cannot make a mistake on this lap. If he doesn't make a mistake, pole position could easily be his. As Comanzo finishes with a P3 finish, he improves slightly on that lap. Lazzaro doesn't improve on that lap actually. He does a 1:39.5, which is definitely not competitive at all. But all eyes now on a lethal bicycle coming through turn 11. It's a bit wide on exit, but it should be okay. In towards the final sector now he goes. It's a decent apex of turn 12. Into Plummet coming underneath the F1 2018 sign he goes. A bit wide, but it gets a good exit, and now onto the entry to the final corner. Lethal Bicycle will be looking to get his second pole position this season as he goes up to the line now. What's he going to do in the Ferrari? He goes pole position with a 1:28.2. He goes 3 tenths quicker than Mercedes, I should say. No, he goes second. What? I missed something. Did Mantis get pole position? At the very end of the session, did Mantis steal pole position? At the very, very end. He did! 500ths of a second quicker than a Lethal Bicycle in P2. So it's Mantis who takes his first pole position of the season ahead of a Lethal Bicycle in P2. Then it's Lazzaro in P3 alongside the second Ferrari of Segatari in P4. Comanzo in P5, decent result for him. And the McLaren alongside Panda Cruiser in P6. Milk, Delta Alpha, Shadow Smile and ZLR complete the top 10 with Job Dead Scary, Southeast and Justin Ass, who got disqualified for a pretty strange incident trying to get back into the pit lane after losing the car on the final corner. Who will round up your grid for the second race of the OWC Championship here in Hungary. And it's a dry race. Here we go up to the 5 red lights. And it's lights out and away we go. Look at the Segatari start. What an absolutely incredible start. He's already into the lead before we even get close to turn 1. At least the bicycle had a pretty poor stop. Oh, look at the lead Segatari's got. 3 wide into turn 1 between the Haas, Mercedes and the Ferrari. As this bicycle is now side by side with the Haas. Can he go round the outside into turn 2? Very, very close. Different tyres I've just seen. Mantis on the softs and at least the bicycle on the ultra softs. Let's go going a bit wide. The McLaren going a bit wide there. And there's a bit of a contact between the McLaren and Forcini at the back. But Sagatari has had an absolutely incredible start. Bottas 2017 Austria-esque. And he's got a 1.2 second advantage of his teammate ahead of Mantis, Lazzaro and Delta, who's made up a great amount of positions at the start. He's already up to P5. Good on the Renault driver. His teammate is down in P9. It goes very, very wide at turn 8. Turn 9, sorry, I should say. But wow, I am absolutely mesmerised by the start from Sagatari. That was unbelievable. He just got... talk about rocket ships. That's exactly what he had in the back of his Ferrari. Unbelievable as Comanzo there is challenging the back of the Haas, second Haas of Milk, who's equally challenging the back of the Renault of Delta Alpha. As we finish lap 1, Sagatari with a 1 second advantage over Link's bicycle. What can Milk do in the slipstream of his fellow compatriot? Down the inside it goes. Delta doesn't really fight it, but Milk goes a bit deep into turn 1. And Delta says, thank you very much, I'll be having that 5th place back, as Comanzo now has his say, and Milk has dropped down 2 positions after unsuccessful pass and on lap 1. As that is Panda Cruiser getting past Shadow Smile. Shadow Smile he's backwards, going up towards turn 6. That has not gone well at all for the Toro Rosso driver. But yeah, as I was saying, I'm very interested in the tyres people are on. Both Ferraris are on the ultra soft tyres. Everyone else is on the soft tyres. So it looks like they're going for a 2-stop, both of them. And everyone else is going for the soft medium strategy. As you see, Shadow Smile is in the pits. Yes, I'm not surprised in the pits. After he was facing backwards on the exit of turn 5, he must have clipped the curb somewhere and lost a bit of his front wing. And that his race has gone down the toilet as I'm concerned. Because unless safety car comes out, he probably won't get in the points in this race unless something incredible happens. As you see Comanzo gaining on Willem into turn 1. DRS wide open for the McLaren. Now it shuts and he is past Willem, the Renault, and up into P5. The McLaren goes. Lazzaro gets a 3-second penalty. Oh dear, naughty. He's been cutting too many corners, and I assume he got it on the exit of turn 4, and oh dear, that's gone very wrong for him. He messed up his braking point to turn 6 massively there, but he is putting a lot of pressure under Mantis, but he goes a very wide. So something doesn't seem right with that, sir. He's been going wide a lot. I've been looking at him, and yeah, he has had a tendency to be going wide, locking up into most corners here. But saying that, he's still, as ever, pressurising the Haas of Mantis. He's been within a second for the whole race, but just hasn't been able to capitalise when he needed it the most, and he will stay in P4 for definitely. Oh, he goes very, very close to the Haas there. Jeez, oh my goodness me, that was a bit too close for my liking, if I have to say. Something doesn't really seem right with that Zero. He just seems to be overdriving the car. He looks like he's being a bit too over-aggressive here. A bit impatient trying to get past the Haas of Mantis here. He's going into the pits here. He's down in 12th place. And he's going for his first pit stop. It's very early for a soft tyre runner. No, he's retiring from the session. Ah. Well, he did it the right way. Retiring in the pit lane. As you see, Sagatari comes into the pits for his first of possibly 2 pit stops. Yep, onto the soft tyre he goes. Where will he rejoin? That's the question. I think he'll rejoin probably in P7. I would say maybe he could come out very close in this battle between Milk and Panda Cruiser here. Is he ahead up? But he's just ahead. I see these two going side by side. Well, the Milk has let Panda Cruiser through. So there you go then, the slightly shortened highlights of round 2 of the OWC Championship here in Hungary. Lazzaro does take the win ahead of Mantis in P2, both pulling off the one-stop strategy to perfection, with the Mercedes coming out on top and taking his first win of the season. Mantis starting from pole could not convert that, unfortunately for him. Sagatari and Lisa Bicycle complete a second row lockout for Ferrari here, which is a bit of a blow after they looked like they had it in the bag, but They couldn't pull off the one-stop strategy and had to make 2 stops compared to the top two's 1. At least Bicycle actually ended up having to take 3 stops after an incident. Cabanzo in P5, decent result for him. Started P5, finished P5, pretty standard. Justin Ass did very well to come home in 6th place in his 4th in India after 2 stops. Panda Cruiser and Delta Alpha in 7th and 8th for Renault respectively. Shadow Smile in P9 in Toro Rosso, and Milk completes the top 10. Although he did get his points deducted because he actually left the session, unfortunately. So that means the driver standings are as follows. Elisa Bicycle is on 37 points and leads away 4 points ahead of Lars and Bantus, both on 33 points. Lazzaro is on 29 points, with an 11-point gap to King Panda on 18. Camanzo's on 16 points, with 8 points gap to Justin Ass on 8. Delta Alpha is on 6, and Shadow Smile and Zelalep have 2 points respectively to their names. So there you have it. Round 2 of the OWC Championship here in Hungary is complete. We will see you for round 3 in Singapore next week. Catch you then.